So TypeScript, we are just talking about TypeScript. So the terms and the references don't compare with other languages. The concept is same, but the accessibilities and the terminologies few will change. So TypeScript can define only 3 access modifiers for any member. That means actually access modifier defines how a member can be accessed. Access modifier defines how a member can be accessed. And the TypeScript supports 3 access modifiers: the public, the private, and the protected. What is difference between these 3 and how to handle them? Let's see. So what is public, private, protected? First I will explain with example. Then later we will learn design that, right? Actually, so access modifier and description. Let's see what are these access modifiers. First one is public. So it defines accessibility from any location. You can access within the class, or outside the class. You can access within the class or outside the class. One more important point is there. We will see that. So private is nothing but it defines accessibility only within the class. It defines accessibility only within the class. That means any member declared as private is not accessible outside the class. So another option, protected. So protected, it defines accessibility within the class. It defines accessibility within the class, and outside the class only by using derived class object. These all 3 things we will practically see that, so that you can understand. So derived class object or reference, you can say. Derived class object or reference. So we have 3 access specifiers. We have public, we have private, and we have protected. What is difference between these 3? Public, private, and protected. So public defines accessibility from any location. You can access within the class or outside the class. So private is only within the class, and protected is accessible within the class and outside the class only by using derived class object. Let's see what is this. when you see practically, then you will understand what are these access specifiers. So it is important to understand these access specifiers. Okay, here I am creating a simple in OOP. I will create another folder. In OOP, I will create a folder called okay. In that, let's create a new file, some demo.ts. Okay. Here I am creating a class. Later we will see example. First we are coming here to understand what is public, private and protected. Later we will learn how to design class. So we have class and we are giving the name as some base. That is the base. Okay. We have another class. This is derived. And this derived class is extending. It is extending base class. Derived class is extending base class. That means the, the members of base class are accessible to derived class. Just like interface extends another interface. Here class is extending another class. Okay. Now in this class, we are declaring members. Public product ID is a number is equal to 1. Then private name is a string is equal to some TV. And third, protected and price. So that is price. It is a number and I will define some price. Okay. So these are three members we are having. One is public, another one private, another one protected. ID is public in access, name is private in access, and price is protected in access. Okay. I will create a constructor inside the class. Don't worry about what is constructor. We will discuss about that. And here, how do we work with the constructors and methods? We will learn later. Don't worry about that. As of now, we don't need a constructor also, just temporarily. I will create a print method. Okay. This print method is having an object. So it is having a parameter. So obj is derived type. So obj is suppose base type. Base type. Now this is a derived object. This is a suppose base object. So obj. Now important, we created an object, base object. This is of type base class. That means we created a base class object. Through that base object, you can see base object. I can access only product ID. I can access only product ID. Only product ID is accessible here through the base object. Only product ID is accessible here. Why product ID is accessible here? Because you can access that product ID within this class. But outside the class,